Hey everyone, this is Matt. Now, welcome. My name is Matthew Archambault. Got another live stream going on here, and in today's class, what we're going to do is focus on gesture drawing, specifically quick sketches. I'm just lowering my volume here. Now, listen, I would love it first and foremost if you can let me know if you can hear the audio nice and clear and crisp. That would be really, really helpful. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Matt, and I've been teaching figure drawing now at the School of Visual Arts since, 1998. I started teaching there in 1997. I've illustrated books for about like 18 years, from 2000 to 2008. And after that, I decided to start my own publishing company called Drawingtutorialsonline.com, which is what I'm still doing today. And yeah. All right, sounds good. Okay, so let's talk about this, and I'm not going to waste your time. We're going to get to drawing. Can you see me good? Am I moving? Can you? I'm going to get a new computer today. I've just been having some serious issues with my computer. It's time, but yeah, I seem to be like a little frozen on the screen here. Let me know. Okay. Phoenix, how does everything look? Can you see me like moving? And can you hear me talking? I know you said yes, sounds good, but what about movement? I'll give you a second to answer that, and then we'll get into the content of the day. Off to a little bit of a rough start here Monday morning, but we'll get through it. I promise you I'm going to give you some really good tips and tricks for improving your... Okay, awesome, Rock Flower Counts. Welcome. Okay, so let me get right to it. Gesture drawing. I'm just going to give you my opinion. You take it. Okay, great. Thank you, Phoenix. You take my opinion for what it's worth. You use it or you throw it in the garbage. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm just trying to give you some value here. So in my humble opinion, I've been doing this now, teaching figure drawing for, oh my God, since like 1998. Now, I wasn't that good at figure drawing in 1998, but hey, Omar, I've been teaching it since then. And it's my little humble opinion that there really is no right and wrong way to draw a gesture pose. Now, I'm talking about a gesture pose that is 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes tops. Like, I think anything under a 5-minute pose is considered gesture for me. Now, I really don't think that there's a correct way to do it. I think there are artists who like to work just with line. There are artists who like to do gesture poses with tone. There are artists who like to show the movement of the body. There are other artists who like to create like an emotion. There are teachers who stress the three-dimensional form of the pose, and all of that I think is great. But if you just choose like one of those and you're like, I think I just want to do these gesture poses as a warm-up, that's a whole nother way to do gesture poses. That your main thing is that you do long poses. Maybe you're a portrait artist, maybe you're a figure drawing artist, and maybe you just want to use gesture poses as your warm-up session. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 things that will they took the mystery out of doing these gesture drawings a long time ago for me. And there are 4 things. So one, and I've repeated them all. I'm a big believer in repetition is the mother of skill. So the first thing is starting with the torso. The second thing is looking for the line of action. The third thing is seeing if you can't flow left to right down the drawing. And the fourth thing is really planting the feet on the ground in perspective. I think if you can do those 4 things, those are not the only 4 things, but those are 4 main things for me that have really worked. I mean, there's a gazillion other things that I can talk about with gesture drawing that I do, and I'm sure I'll say them as the video goes. But that's enough talking. Let's get to drawing. Let me switch cameras here. I feel very Italian today. I'm really moving my hands around the page, around the screen, I should say. Let me just move this. Okay, not too bad. The intro was about 4 minutes. So that's not too bad. Let me just close a couple of windows here. I got too much open. Yeah, I'm watching myself. There's a delay. I'm really moving my hands. Okay, so we don't have full nudity. I kind of block some of the nudity out. So just do the best that you can to draw from it. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble from YouTube here. The YouTube, is probably going to still think I'm using nudity, but I'm really not. We kind of covered part of the model. Okay. Now, let's see here. I got let's see, how big am I drawing? I'm a big believer in describing size. So this is roughly almost 11 inches. And in my drawing class, I like to do a gesture drawing about 14 inches tall. And the reason for that is I really like to draw with my arm and not my fingers. But 11 inches for this today is going to be just fine. Okay, now let me just leave this here for a moment. If you have this, a China marker, which is not charcoal, but if you like charcoal, use charcoal. It doesn't matter to me. This is like a black crayon. I really love these types of pencils. The only problem, and I've explained this multiple times before on YouTube, so just bear with me if you've heard me say this, is this annoying string. Another thing that like an artist has created, and it's just like the most annoying thing. I'm not even going to get into how to use it, but you peel back the string, you unravel it, and then you can sharpen it. Too much work. So I've found a replacement for that, and the replacement is this pencil, which is my Drawingtutorialsonline Ivory Black 6700. Listen, I know I'm far away right now. The problem, every pencil has a pro and a con. So the pro is, with this pencil, I don't need to deal with this annoying China marker string, but it's the same vibe and feel on the newsprint paper. But these pencils, my God, they are pricey. They're really expensive. When it boils right down to it, they're almost like $3 a pop. And I think that's absolutely insane for a pencil, but it's a very, very high quality pencil. Okay. So I like to use this on newsprint paper, not on white drawing paper. And they come in all different colors. If you can't find black, they've got sepia red, they've got blue, they've got chocolate, they've got a couple different colors, and they're actually beautiful to draw with, okay? Now, another pencil that I'm going to be using today is this graphite Lyra graphite. I like the 9B. My 9B is in my classroom. This one is a 6B, and these are pretty cool as well, okay? So I'm no Color-Ace. Like the Color-Ace for me, it's not really a gesture drawing pencil. I'm thinking gesture drawing is roughly 2 to 5 minutes long. Now, I'm going to do longer than that today in this video because I'm teaching. I'm not trying to cheat or anything like that. I do these drawings all the time. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I know the barcode thing. It's so annoying. What, like the person who's putting the barcode on there I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. Hi, Carmela. Welcome. Now, if they put the barcode over here, maybe they're blocking the model. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. So listen, people. I haven't drawn anything since Friday in my Perspective Afternoon class, which is an awesome group of students. If anyone's from my Perspective Afternoon class, please say hello. It was a fun afternoon. Everybody seemed really into it. Okie dokie. Oh, I forgot to move my light over so it's more over my pad. Can you people just give me like 2 seconds here? I need to get up and I need to move my big light that is overhead a little bit more centered over my white paper. If you can just bear with me 1 second. Appreciate that. It's kind of like a little bit of amateur hour right now today. Okie dokie. I don't know if that made much of a difference, but at least I think it made a little bit of a difference. So before we get to a gesture, I'm going to do my warm-up, and I'm such a believer. Hey, Slar. Welcome. I am such a believer in the the warm up. For me, it's huge. It's huge. So let me just make sure I'm on the video here. Actually, let me just move my little self here. I don't even think I need to be in this video, but some people like that. So I'm sorry, repetition, repetition. So for me, my warm up, oh my God, I love this pencil. For me, my warm up are these ovals. Now I'm barely pressing down hard on the pencil, and I'm going to do some the gesture drawing techniques right here in a second. But this is my gesture drawing technique, what I'm showing you right now. So I just took my pencil off the page for the first time. And so now I just want to do some smaller little circles. And these pencils wear down very quickly. They are so soft. Now, again, everybody on YouTube, I am working on newsprint. I have done some of my best ever drawings on newsprint. I used to swear against it because it does turn yellow, but I just love it for gesture drawing, and it is my favorite. I don't like doing gesture drawing with white paper. I like doing it with this newsprint. Okay, so that's my warm-up. It's these ovals. Now, what we can do to kind of do next level is give yourself some lines that wrap around the ovals, because we don't want to do flat 2D ovals. We want to do three-dimensional ovals. So what we're doing here on our warm-up is we're wrapping around, wrapping around, wrapping around, wrapping around. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? I'm moving my hand in this curvy, rounded sort of way. Now, the next thing that we're going to do with our warm-up is long line of action. Long line of action, and it should be an S-curve, okay? It should be an S-curve. Now, what I'm a big believer about is that when you draw the figure, that you're just drawing one side. So we start on the left. You can start on the right. Okay. You then dance to the other side. So it's left and then it's right. This is huge, people. It's left and then it's right, and then it's left and then it's right. Okay. It's this cascading movement down the body. Now, what this is over here with the gesture drawing, I like to call these stacked ovals of like sculptor's clay. So if I'm going to do like an oval now and it's clay, I'm going to put another piece of clay down on my armature, whatever. I'm not a sculptor. It's round again. And so what figure drawing is to me is, especially gesture drawing, is that you are like sculpting the figure, and it's these kind of stacked ovals. All right. Now, okay, one of the most important things you do not want to do when you do the gesture drawing, figure drawing thing is you do not want to outline. I'm sorry, I just have to do this. You do not want to outline the figure 100% like this. I just do this as like my example. When you outline, and when you keep lifting your pencil off of the paper, I know I'm being repetitive, but this is for the new people who are watching me for the first time. And, you know, quite frankly, this does bear repeating because a lot of people still do this. Don't constantly lift your pencil off of the paper. You see, I'm using my fingers. I'm not using my arm, and I'm not moving. So don't outline everything. Don't constantly lift your pencil off of the paper. And don't draw with straight lines. Everything else that I've done here is curvy, and the body is curvy. And when you look at this pose, it's really, really super duper curvy. Now, listen, the way that I sharpen these pencils are brutal in my studio. And I'll tell you the reason why is because if you get the sharpener, shavings all over the floor, like you gotta use a cleaner to clean it up. It's not like a graphite dust, like where you can just wipe it. Like this sticks, this stuff. But this is the best sharpener for these pencils, just a cheap sharpener. I don't use the electric sharpener for this. Bear with me. Yes, I do have like several of them already sharpened, but this is the one that I want to use right now. So just bear with me. Okie dokie, okie dokie. Now, let's tackle this pose, okay? Let's tackle this pose. Now, okay, step number one for me with this pose would be these round things. But I'm not going to draw an oval. I'm going to draw part of an oval. So step number one for me would be the model's shoulder. I'm very oval-like. And then what I'll do, I see, screw up number one, people. You see, I started drawing how I draw in the classroom. That's the size. But there's no room for me to incorporate the legs. So let me just show you the torso first, and then I'll switch papers and I'll start like a little bit higher. Okay, so it's shoulders in that round line. That's my first line. And then I might just do my continuous line like here. And then I'm just drawing ovals, people. So it's this model's back is really kind of tilted like that. So for me, with gesture, sometimes, not every time, because every pose gives you a different problem to solve. But on some poses, this is how I like to start. Now, what I would do, now this is that. This is a shorter version of that, okay? Now, I did kind of outline. I didn't outline over here at the bottom of the butt, but it's just a demo. It's just a demo. So now what I would do next is I would do this part of the neck, which goes into the base of the skull. This is a little seventh cervical vertebrae, and then maybe I'll think about the spine. So that is an easy, I didn't draw the breast. I didn't draw the arms. I screwed up with the legs because this, quite frankly, is the size that I draw in the classroom. It's a little bit bigger. It's just a habit. I've just been doing this for years. So this would be my step number one. And step number one for me is the torso. But this is where I'm going to contradict myself. Not every time. It depends on the pose. If I'm just going to start with the torso, or I'm going to start with the line of action, or I'm just going to cascade down from left to right to left to right. Does that make sense? Now, okay, so let me get a new sheet of paper because we need to do this one all over again because I need to show this to you step by step. Listen, we've got, wow, 50 people watching. I'm excited. I really want to appreciate you all watching me here today. Hopefully I don't lose you here in like the first 2 minutes. Yeah, hopefully you stick with me because I need to get to the goods here. Most people like look at this and they're like, oh my God, does this guy know how to draw? But seriously, this is the shit right here. This is what you need to do. And we, again, I'm just switching paper. There is, in my opinion, there's all these wonderful teachers out there, and you know who I'm talking about. They're all over YouTube. They're really talented. I love them all. God bless them. And they all have their style for gesture drawing. And I'm not knocking anybody. And every teacher, like, they should have their style. That's what it's all about. But I'm touting my beliefs right now, and you're watching, and my beliefs are, don't get so stressed out over trying to do a gesture drawing in a perfect sort of way because you shouldn't be striving for perfection on a gesture drawing. You should be loosening up, warming up, and just trying to get a nice loose pose. Okay, I'm going to try this again. Let me mark the top of my paper and let me mark the bottom of my paper. That still for me is, can I zoom out? Can I zoom out? Hold on, my bad. Okay, that's good enough. I'm gonna mark this again, mark that again. So I gained like maybe about 3/4 of an inch, not much there. Okay, so same pose now, same pose. 1 second, I wanna make sure how far my head could be because you don't need to see my bald head here today on YouTube. So step number one, again, I have to like, when I draw smaller, it actually hurts. Like it hurts because I've got this massive 18-inch tall paper, and I want to use all of it. Okay, but I digress. So I'm doing the shoulders first, like I just showed you. And then what I'm going to do next is cruise on down, and I'm going right down. That's off the paper. I got to zoom out. I got to zoom out, okay? So, yes. Okay. So now I've got my shoulders, and I've got my torso, and then I did line of action. So I'm going to just put the model's foot here. Okay, is that on the camera? Yes, it is. So now I've got the whole pose within a couple of lines. So that literally should take like 10 seconds. 10 seconds. I'm talking a lot doing explaining, but now we'll go back up top. So sure, okay, I don't like to do the head just yet. So I'm going to do this again with continuous line. Matt, what are you doing? You just said don't outline. I'm sorry. I'm not going to outline everything, and you will see. So look, this is the letter C. That's part of the oval on that glute. And then I'll repeat, and I'll come over here. And then I'll come over here to the back of the model's lower leg. And then I see that maybe I can lift up that foot a little bit higher. That leg is still a little long for me. Okay, but let me come over here now. We're not looking for perfect measurements, although I always try to go for perfect measurements. So now let's just talk about right now in this little thing, the cascading down of these letter C. I know there are some other teachers who absolutely hate this technique. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, and then opposite letter C. And then the letter C. And then the opposite letter C. Now, sometimes they're equal in their heights, and sometimes they're not. So this, for me, would be the first opposite letter C. Right here, the head, that face. And then maybe the back. Okay, and then the hip into the knee, and then the lower leg into the bottom of the foot. Okay, so it's a right, left, bottom of the foot. Start all over again. Start all over again. Let's come back up top. And I'm going to do a little angle of what we did last week. Maybe now I'm going to just throw in shape of hair very, very quickly, okay? Maybe now I'm going to do this arm into that hand. I'm just going to suggest. Maybe now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of the model's spine. Maybe now I'm going to do these ovals for the shoulder, this arm, all the way down into that hand, and then I'll come back over here. And I'm going to just kind of suggest the bottom of the other foot. So notice I didn't even draw the other leg, okay? I just kind of suggested the other foot. Now this model's really leaning back, and what you need to also understand, everybody in YouTube land, that one foot or both should... Did I just say shit? Okay. One foot or both feet should be under the model's center of their neck. So if I come down from the center of the model's neck, most of the weight is on the model's right foot. Now, this model almost feels like they're tipping over, and that's okay. I still like the pose, and they're balancing a little bit with this pole, which I forgot all about. Now, look, I didn't outline the leg. I didn't even draw that leg. I didn't even outline that arm totally. I didn't even outline that arm. Now, I've got to do this for you because this is just, it's god-awful, okay? So here's how some people like to draw. And let's talk about the pros and cons of it because I'm not trying to diss anybody here. So some people like to come and do the head. And this, I'm talking about a gesture drawing now. And then you draw the face, and then I got to try to do this somewhat good. And now this shoulder's higher than that. And then I come on down and I draw the arm to the elbow. And then I'm doing like a little bit of lifting my pencil off of the page. Now, I'm talking gesture drawing, people. That's all I'm talking about here today. And then I'll come on down and I'll do the hip. I'll get this part of the body. And so what am I doing wrong? I have, and there really is no wrong in art. It's into the eye of the beholder, I guess. But we're just talking about, the goal for today's class is loose gesture drawing. Loose gesture drawing. Okay, that's the goal. Hey, Nocturne Scene. Um, Nocturne, yes, Nocturne C. That's pretty cool. And then look, this is the kiss of death. If you struggle with these gesture drawings, I'm talking 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You're coming on down, and the buzzer is going to go off. The timer is going to go off in the classroom if you're in a classroom, and you're still outlining. You're like, oh nuts! I didn't get a chance to finish outlining. And then the next pose, and the model changes, and you're like, oh my god, I'm like so flippin' slow. Why? Well, you're slow because you're not doing this technique of left, right, cascading down. What you're doing here is you're outlining both sides of the body, and that just does not work in gesture drawing. So again, not everybody likes gesture drawing. In the beginning, I hated it too. I didn't like it, but there's so many benefits. That's a video unto itself. Really, what are the true benefits of doing a gesture drawing? The true benefit truly is it's not practice with this. This is secondary. It's practice seeing a pose quickly. So when you do a 6-hour drawing, you could just see it quickly, and you can get the drawing and not erasing all of your mistakes that you didn't see in the first 5 minutes of the pose. Does that make sense to y'all? So gesture drawing, for me, this is just a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. It's visual training. It's you in 2 minutes flat trying to get a sense of how does the pose look? What are the proportions? How many heads high? When you do hundreds and hundreds of gesture drawings over the years, that's just what happens. Like you can't get past that, okay? Now, okay, let's just kind of pile on this drawing. But that drawing, that demo there is kind of done. Now, if I was going to do one other thing with this, and this is another thing that purists, and I don't want to diss anybody. Everybody has their thing. But listen, I'm a huge believer in tone. So, like, why wouldn't you scribble in a little bit of tone? Like, does it hurt the drawing? I don't think so. Does it help the drawing? I don't know. It's up to the eye of the beholder. But I think it's helpful. I think it's helpful. I just see proportions better with these values. Does that make sense? So, like, to me, tone is really a fun, cool thing to add to the gesture drawing. Now, I could resharpen the pencil and start all over again, but now we're not in a 2-minute gesture pose anymore. Now we're in like a longer pose. So I could adjust, and I'd be like, oh, this glute is a little bit lower. I could add some convexes. I can do like a darker line in the center. I can add like a little bit more tone. I could, if I want to, start to add 1 or 2 of these convex lines. I could most certainly raise that foot up because the pose is a little bit long. There's a boatload of other things that I could do. But right now, we're talking like short duration poses. Now, again, do you see this, people? Do you see this? Okay? No straight lines. Okay, no straight lines. Curvy. Curvy is golden. And a lot of people have a hard time doing curvy, and I understand. I did too. But just practice ovals. Ovals will help you with the curvy. Does that make sense? Listen, does anybody have any questions? Let me resharpen this pencil. No questions. Are we still live here? Are we still live? Is there anybody out there? Is anybody alive on our live? Okay. Nuts. Okay, I need a little coffee while I'm waiting for a question. This is what I did on Friday in the classroom. I said, does anybody have any questions? My Friday afternoon class was phenomenal. Okay, let me just switch here for a second. No, let me not switch. Hold on 1 second. Okay, awesome. Yeah, my Friday afternoon class, my Wednesday class just stared at me when I said, does anybody have any questions? And everybody just kind of stared at me. And I'm like, I know I'm not that good looking. I'm not that good looking at all, but why are you staring at me? Why not use the bean method? Okay, wow, I love that. I love the bean. The bean, to me, I call it the torso peanut shape. I'll show you in the next one, okay? Great. Been practicing word curves to make the big change in what I draw. Yes, alive and kicking. Okay, yes. All right, good. Thank you, people. The figure on the far right is stiff. Yes. The curve of the spine is absolutely huge. So I'm going to switch poses now. Let me get a new sheet of paper. And I really want to answer Timo. I don't know how to say your name. Is it Tim? And then that's your last name? Let me just get rid of this disgrace right here. 1 second. I'm supposed to think positive. Okay. Let me get a new sheet of paper down on here. I'm using newsprint, and okay, love it. Now again, I used to, like, you change. Like I used to say to my students, don't bring newsprint paper in my class. It's the cheapest paper. And now I love it. It's just with this pencil paper combination, I can't find better for like gesture drawing right now. Practicing curves. Okay, Shelly by the shore. Okay, so let's talk about Tim's question. Why not use the bean method? So I think the bean method is what a whole bunch of other great teachers on YouTube use. And so I call it the torso peanut shape. Okay, so if I start over here, let me talk about the torso peanut shape. Oh, and let me switch poses. Sweet. Okay, I just want to give you like my little torso peanut shape here, and we're about there, and we're about here. Okay, so for me, this is my shape that I absolutely love. Now, okay, so that is fine. Other teachers call it the bean. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the same thing. So for me, it's this shape is in essence, I just basically call it, it's two ovals. So the first oval is tilted. That's our warm-up, right? And then the lower portion is tilted the other way. So now within this torso peanut shape is the S-curve of the spine. Okay, William. So S-curve of the spine, and if you want to get a little advanced, we've got our little triangular sacrum with the two dimples at the iliums, okay? And over here now would be first rib. So I like to put that little hole in the torso peanut shape. So now I could just tweak, and this could be, I'm not drawing this pose, I'm drawing just out of my imagination here for a moment. So now we can kind of tilt, and then I could do the center of the glute, and then I could make this like a little bit more realistic and not so perfectly primitively round. Yeah, so there's no shoulders on this. I could do a couple of ribs or just kind of a little bit of tone over here because that kind of turns under. But make no mistake about it. That shape, without all the extras like the scapula, the shoulders, and all that jazz, that could be how you start. And maybe we'll start, I don't want to start this next pose with that torso peanut shape. I want to start it with the line of action. So I got to sharpen again. 1 second. Okie dokie. So I hope I answered that question. Now, let me just switch on my iPad. So this pose, and this is the top, and this is the bottom. I want to thank everybody who's here hanging out with us today. It's just an informal live drawing session with our model. Let me move this over to about here. So I'm starting, okay, where am I starting? I look at the pose. I'm starting at the collarbone area, the collarbone. So I'm going to start at the collarbone. I'm going all the way down to the top of the foot. And is this going to be on the video? Yeah, right. So that is my first mark on the paper. It's the line of action for me. What did we do in the warm-ups? In the warm-ups, I said do these C curves. Do these long lines, S curves I meant to say. It could be a C curve. So Tim, check it out. So you start with that line of action, but you do it a whole lot faster than what I just did. I'm just talking way too much. trying to teach y'all some stuff here. And so next, Tim, would be the torso peanut shape, if that's how you see it. So that could be that torso peanut shape, and the line of action lives on one side of the torso peanut shape. Does that make sense? So now now I'm going to do the cascading down. So I'm going to say, okay, this is the model's glutes, and then right here at the pelvis, the iliac crest, I'm going to do my opposite letter C. And then I'm not going to outline that leg. I'm going to the back of the lower leg. And then the Achilles tendon kind of goes straight down. And then I just suggest where I feel the bottom of that foot is. Now, if I go a little faster here, I'm just going to cruise, get that kneecap, get that opposite C, and just hint at where that other foot is. Now, when you get down over here, everybody, you need to ask the question, which foot is higher than the other? I should have drawn a little bit bigger. Darn it. Okay. Hold on one second. So now I would be going faster than this. I'm just really talking. I know there's a lot going on. Listen, Sasha. Hello, Matt. This is core, C curve, S curve. Core, do you see what you've made me do? You've made me not use my Saratoga bottle for drinking on the live stream. Thank you. You're such an influence. Okay, so as I go, so I'm going to now go up to the top of the head, which, zoom out, Matt, zoom out. So let's do this. Opposite letter C for that face. Scapula. I'm going to do this arm. It's tilting up. I'm going to come back and add the breast. I'm going to wrap around that ilium. I could kick out the lower abs over here. Maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of tone for that arm. I'll press down harder on my pencil. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do some form lines on that quad. I'm not really going with light and shade. Couple of angles over here on that knee, and then down over here at the top of the foot. I'm just going to do some round lines like that. And that, okay, so last little doodad over here, like last little step, is just going to be shape of hair. So in a 2-minute gesture pose, that's how I would work it, okay? But Matt, you didn't do the hand. I know the 2 minutes is up. If I was going to do the hand, I would just kind of do something like that and then just do the pull down. Now, another thing that I could do, everybody, is I could, thank you so much, B, I could also just do my tone coming down vertically. Now, vertically is good because you don't muck with the flow of the pose by going with horizontal shading lines. And sometimes it's cool just to connect. Now, okay, do you see, check this out. What not to do. I'm a big believer in what not to do. I should lower my paper. One second. This drawing is so far above like my head. I feel like I'm reaching up to Mount Everest to draw this pose. So my head core does not get into the video. Okay, because I know you would take a picture of that, right? Absolutely. Okay, let me just come down. I want to just teach you a couple other things, and I want you to write down some of this stuff. If you're watching me, you're really into gesture drawing, and so you're here and you want to learn. So I want you, let me just resharpen this. I want you to write down these steps. Now listen to me, people. Every pose is going to present a new problem. Now, some artists don't like when I say that, but poses present problems that you have to solve, and not every technique will solve every problem, okay? EKE Emmanuel, what can figure drawing improve? Figure drawing, okay, so that was just retracted, but that's a really good question that you just asked. How can figure drawing improve my work? Well, I'll say this to everybody who's watching right now on the live stream. I remember I graduated from college back in 1990, and I'm done with school. I am so done. And then I started my career being a book cover painter. And I did my sketches. I did all that jazz. and I stopped live drawing, right? Let me just switch here for a second. So I stopped live drawing and I just started painting and started working with art directors and doing sketches and all that jazz. And then I went back. Okay, I'll answer that question too, Emmanuel, but this is totally relevant. I went back to teach back in 1997 and I started teaching. I was asked to teach in 1997. I went back to SVA and I started doing a lot of gesture drawing, and holy, everything else got faster. Like my oil paintings got faster, my sketches for the art directors, I did them faster, and it was all because of this gesture drawing thing. Okay, so gesture drawing, I'm talking too fast, so now I'm starting to talk like this. Gesture drawing is such a vital skill. It makes you faster with everything else. And again, it's a visual skill that helps you to see things quicker. Okay, let's get back to this. I kind of want to show you what not to do, people. And let me just go back to Emmanuel. How can gesture drawing improve my work? It's just, Emmanuel, you're working on your eye-hand coordination, and you're also working on your vision. So that's how it's going to improve your work. Those two things alone. It's just going to make, it's also going to help you to become faster in everything else, because you're training yourself to draw faster, and you're training your eye to see faster. And I'm telling you, it's really helpful. It's really helpful. Okay, so what not to do? What not to do? So what not to do is, okay, I'm in gesture drawing class for the first time, and the timer's going. It's a 2-minute pose, and I'm drawing the model, and I'm working on the left side and the right side, and now let me kind of draw the shoulders, and then I'm doing the angles, what we did last week, and then there's this arm over here, but wait, I've got to draw the breast, and then there's the center of the breast, and oh, gosh, the arm is blocking the breast. What's that all about? Oh, nuts, this arm looks a little wonky, like it doesn't feel like long enough. Now let me draw the elbow, and holy shit, there's these fingers. How the hell am I supposed to draw this in like 2 minutes? This is not good. I am stressing out. And now what am I doing? I'm starting to press down harder with my pencil, which means I am attracting the people, the audience, to the worst part of my drawing, because I'm stressing over those fingers. I don't know how to draw them in 2 minutes, and I just pressed down really hard over here, so I brought people to the worst part of my drawing. And now I'm lifting my pencil off of the page because I'm starting to get like a little nervous, and I'm going back and I'm outlining, and then I stop and I look at my classmates' artwork who's sitting next to me, and holy shit, they are so much better than me. And I'm going and I'm drawing straight lines, and oh, there's these toes, and the 2 minutes is up. And I lean back and I look at my drawing, and the head's too big. I didn't draw the arm. I didn't even get to that foot. My drawing has chicken scratch, and it's completely two-dimensionally flat. So what is the antidote to this? The antidote is simple, people. It's you practicing drawing these ovals without lifting your pencil off of the paper. Try this. Then, even though so many other teachers hate this, I don't really care. It's the letter C. The letter C. Then it's the opposite letter C. And then it's the letter C. And then it's the opposite letter C. Then it's the letter C. Now, why a lot of other teachers don't like this technique? Because it's taken out of context. This, right now, is 2D. Okay? It's not 3D. What makes it 3D is when you now start to wrap lines in. Did you watch the live stream from like a month ago? The Michelangelo, or yeah, it was Michelangelo, where we did all of the Michelangelo convex lines. This technique is taken out of context because this is two-dimensional and it's not three-dimensional. Three-dimensional now is when you start to roll in and around, have some form lines that are wrapping around different muscles, and having this glute hip roll in. that's when things start to get three-dimensional. Like over here on my torso peanut shape, this is kind of rolling in a little bit. Maybe there'd be a rib lightly, I would roll it in. Maybe this rolls in over here. The butt is curving around the roundness, okay, of the glute. Those are the things that take this two-dimensional, flat, opposite C thing, one side of each oval, and make it look more three-dimensional. And really, ultimately, you're not going to, like, let's say there's light and shade on these ovals. You could, and I have no problem with you doing this, shade on the diagonal. I love that. That looks amazing. But some other teachers are like, oh, that makes it flat. Okay, sure, maybe it does. So then if I come over here to the kind of torso peanut shape, I'll shade with the angle of the form. And I will cascade down the form. And that's legit too. It's, again, I don't think there's a right and a wrong. I think, it's 2-3 minutes. You do what you can to finish the pose. But ultimately, again, and I'm going to switch poses here in a second. Ultimately, people, there is no right and wrong way to draw a gesture pose. It's whatever you want it to be. That's my opinion. Okay, let's switch to paper. Can gesture drawing be applied in portraiture? You bet. Absolutely it can. That's a story for another day. That's when my YouTube live streams get like a little chaotic, when I just start switching and doing different things like that. Nocturne C. But if you go to my website, I'm not selling anything. I'm just asking you to visit my website. If you visit my website and you go to the where it says portrait on the top bar, and my website's matthewarchambault.com. The link is in the description. I'm not selling anything. And you just click on portrait. I have a bunch of different portrait drawings. Some took hours. And then I've got like a few that are a little bit more gestural. And in my animation drawing class, I teach my students how to do what is called a head gesture. And there are steps to that as well. But we're not going to do that in today's video. Okay? All right, 1 second. Let me just look at these comments. Quicker. Yes, Carmela. The figure drawing took me so long to be accurate. Again, the accuracy will come. The accuracy will come. Okay? So, Slar, having a really hard time doing just lines like you. Feels like I need to make basic shapes for everything. Okay, so let me address Slar. Let me switch the pose. Okay. I wish I could. 1 second, people. I kind of want to go to my website and show you things, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm looking for a drawing on my wall. It's not there, so I'll just draw this out of my imagination. So for years, this is for Slar. For years, I drew the model like this. I'm doing another. Let me switch. I'm not drawing this pose right now. I'm just drawing a pose out of my imagination, kind of almost like the similar one we just drew. So for years, I would draw the model like this with these angles. That's how I was trained to draw. And then this maybe would be the arm, elbow, the bicep, the forearm, the wrist. And then I would come on down and I would draw the line that separates the light from the dark, and I would shade. And this is a very cool way to draw, and I absolutely love it. And that's how I would draw the torso. And then I'd come on in and be like, oh, okay, the leg, it comes out, it comes in, it comes out, it comes in. And this is called more of an angles approach to drawing. And then I was hired to teach in the animation department, and I just evolved from this to more curviness with these torsos. where everything changed for me, where I started doing this kind of curvy thing, right? And it didn't happen one day overnight. It happened slowly. It kind of happened for me very slowly. And so look at the difference between this quick sketch of that torso versus the straight line thing. Now, again, I still, let me zoom in. I apologize. This is a little small. We're going to draw this next pose here in a second, people. Okay, just chill with me for a second. So now, could I come back and do like a couple of what we did last week with these macro angles? Sure, why not? I could do this, and then I could do the best of both worlds, where I've got, you know, some curves and some angles, and I think that's kind of fun. Again, no right and wrong way to do this. This SLAR evolved. It evolved for me over the years. Like I would try to draw like the breast, and I'd be like, oh God, the breast, how the hell do I do that? And then I get like the center of the breast, and it looked like horrendous. And now really it's just evolved to the breast is just basically two circles, done, because it's organic, and we're talking about gesture poses today. Okay, next one. Now, let me just get a little drink of water here. 1 second. All right. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Thank you for your comments and questions. It means a lot. Hey, listen, let me pretend I'm a YouTuber here. If you like what I'm doing, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, oh my God, I sound like some person on YouTube here. If you're new to the channel and you like this, I'm giving you free information. I've worked for years to kind of condense this information like this. If you like this, maybe subscribe. If you really, really like this, maybe subscribe. And what is the other thing? Click on the bell. Okay, let's do this pose. That's enough of the self-promotion here for the channel. So, okay, this is the top. And thank you, RC. I appreciate you, brother or sister. Okay, so gee whiz, what am I doing here? When I look at this pose, I could start it with the line of action, and I will, or I could start it with the torso peanut shape. Let's try the line of action. So I'm starting at the model's underarm. I'm going to the hip. I'm cruising down the quad to the knee all the way to that foot toes. That is the simple line of action would be that. I just made it a little bit more complicated. That's all. So now, okay, this is the underarm pectoralis area. So I'm going to go on top of that. This is gesture drawing, and of course I didn't leave myself enough room for the head again. Lovely. Lovely. I'll get back to it. Let's just focus on the body. So shoulders are tilted slightly. Rib cage, hip, bottom of the torso, navel. Okay, now I'm just going to maybe bring this in. So quad. Let me go a little faster because I'm going too slow and it's screwing me up. Into that foot. Now with this, I just might do continuous line. And now we've got a little breast here. We can go around the torso, and I can add another little breast there. And of course, I didn't leave enough room for the head. I got to get my shit together here. And okay, so, oh God, this gal is looking up. So there's a little bit more height that needs to be there. So I can just say she's head's tilted back. And now I can just cruise on down with that arm into that forearm. This I'm just going to do with some tone right now. I'm just kind of scribbling that. And I love drawing hair. That head's a little bit higher. So I could, is this on the video? Okay, cool. I could, just for a gesture pose, even just do that. And okay, we're done. It's a 2-minute gesture pose. But I'm going to just push it a little bit more. Catalina. So, Catalina, hey, I just wanted to say that I've been following you since I started at 14. I'm now 25, working full time as an illustrator. You were always such an inspiration and guide for me. Thank you. Well, congratulations. Working as an illustrator in today's day and age is not easy to do. So, you deserve a definite congratulations for that, and a thumbs up, Catalina. And thank you so much for saying hello. And maybe go to are you on Insta? Go to Insta and maybe like one of my images so I can find your channel, and then I'll go and I'll like a boatload of your images. Okay, I think that'd be like really, really fun. I'd love to see your illustration. Okay, so now let's say this is my 2-minute version of this sketch. A little rough because I'm talking. So now I'll pick a home base. Home base for me could be the breast, and then I'll come on down and I'll do some tone over here. And now inside of this gal's knee, kneecap area, continuous line. I like to go around the foot like that. And now this other thing, I'm just going to do the toes. I'm not too concerned with doing perfection here. It's just going to be a little bit looser. Now, could I do a little bit of tone like this? Sure. I could do that. And could I kind of scribble in a little bit with our model's hair, scribble in a little bit of tone? I love doing tone on gestures. That pose is done for me. It's done. Is it the most three-dimensional pose I've ever done? No, not really. Do I like it? I think it's a fun pose. I think it's fun, and it's not perfect. And you don't want to be perfect on these. Okay? If you try to do this thing where you're going for like this perfection, could I add some anatomical landmarks? Of course. You're just going to crash and burn. So just stay loose right now. Now, could I start to press down like a little bit harder? This pose is done. I'm just kind of mucking it up right now. Sure, I could do that. Could I, if I have another minute here, could I just suggest the bottom of the model's nose? Could I suggest one or two other things, the model's ear? Yeah, I could do all of that, and that would be kind of fun. But that pose is done. Do I love it? No, I don't love it. Now, what about the center of the neck? This is where I screwed up. And the reason why, and that line's tilted that way a little bit, the reason why I screwed up is because I screwed up. This foot needs to be more underneath that neck, okay? Let's do another one. I got to move this one. This one sucks. I'm supposed to talk positive, right? Absolutely. That's a whole new thing that I'm really into with a younger artist. It's this mental management thing that I've studied over the years. And let's say you have the skill, and your skill is better than other people, but your mental attitude about yourself and how good you think you are or not are really is sometimes more important than your skill in determining whether or not you're going to be successful. That's a whole nother story for another day. But, when I say, oh, this sucks, that drawing sucks, like, you really don't want to do that. I was talking to my younger students about that on Friday, and it'll really mess you up, like, subconsciously. How many of you here listen to me on YouTube right now, when you draw something and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that sucks. I need to start over again. And then you're like, God, I suck. Like, why do I keep making the same freaking mistakes over and over and over again? Yeah. Okay. Don't say you suck. Subconsciously, that's going to catch up with you one day. This is very, very important to athletes. Okay, so what is the best way to memorize the muscles? Let me just sharpen this pencil, Batman, and then I'm going to answer your question. I'll draw something over here on the side. Okay, so the best way for you to memorize the muscles is to pick a part of the body and just stick with that part of the body. Okay, so I'll show you the torso. Let's do the torso. So if I draw Is this on the camera? Way to go, Matt. If I draw a torso here, and I'm going to draw like a little bit more of a front view. Cool. And, okay, that's a flat outline, but it's a torso. So now I'm going to do a landmark. I'm going to do the bottom of the rib cage. I'm going to do the pubic bone. So this is your costal margin. So I'm going to put in a couple of bone landmarks, Batman. So a bone landmark would be first rib. A bone landmark would be the clavicles. A bone landmark could be part of the sternum. A bone landmark could be this iliac crest as a little bump. And that's a bone landmark right over there. So I've got sternum, costal margin, clavicles, first rib. Technically, first rib would go a little bit underneath. And your front of your pelvis, and yeah, your pubic bone and your iliac crest. Okay. So muscles, good catch, Matt. Muscles on the front would be, I should put in the humerus part of it. Pectoralis. I'm not drawing the attachments perfect. Just bear with me here. So study the pectoralis. That would be the first muscle I would work on. The second muscle that I would work on would be the abs. And the abs attach here intertwined in the ribs on the costal margin, and they go down and they attach to your pubic bone. And that's the center line of your 8-pack abs, not your 6-pack. And then on the side over here comes the next muscle group, which would be your obliques, your external obliques, and they wrap around the side of your torso to protect your torso. Okay, so far we've got 1, the pecs, 2, the rectus abdominis, 3, the external obliques. Okay, so that's ginormously huge right there. If you just knew those were 3 surface muscles on the torso. So then let's add another surface muscle. This would be your lat muscle showing up on the side. So we're going to call that 4. And what's another muscle that would show up? Your serratus anterior. Serratus anterior are these finger-like muscles that come from your scapula in the back. So that would be number 5. Now, I know that looks like one big hot mess on YouTube, but surface muscles. Don't worry about all the different layers. Okay, we got to draw this pose. One second. Okie dokie. Now, listen, little self-promotion right now. If you want to see more of these types of things in detail, full-blown organized courses with PDFs that go with them, as well as model reference and organization, and me looking at your work to critique it, check out the links in the description. Okay, this pose. I'm going to zoom out because I really just want to freaking draw bigger. I really want to try. You got it, Batman. I appreciate the question. I love that stuff. It's really what I'm into the most. Okay, let's do this. Okay, I see you can see the chat over here, but it's all good. It's all good. So, do I really want to draw the arms? I guess I should. We haven't done that. This is a long pose, I'm just going to go for it. So, shoulders, torso. I'm lifting my pencil off the page, which is no good. I'm drawing very timidly because I want to fit the freaking pose on the paper. And so I'm trying to figure out how to place it. And I'm not just drawing like gesturally, I'm drawing timidly. So now let me go back to gesture. So it's hip, line of action, back, bottom of the torso, peanut shape. You don't need to outline that. Center of the glutes, kick out this hip. For me, I'm doing a little bit of tone over there, and then I'm coming on down. And these legs really taper in together like a V shape. So now I'm not going to get stuck. I'll come back. I'll fix all that hot mess right there. And so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the arm, suggest the hand, suggest the model's hair. Is that on the camera? Yes, it is. Center line's totally off. We'll fix it. Okay, I got you. That's off the monitor. My bad. So now that's my first go through. Let's go through it again, people. Okay, so now I'm going to start here. I'm slowing down. And I'm going to get the bottom of the model's butt. I'm going to come on in, move the center line. I can turn that into a shadow shape. And then I'll come back. This is a convex. Torso needs to be wider. This glute and hip really kick out. So I'm going to use a little bit of continuous line. And maybe I can make this torso a tad wider. Okay, now let's do a little bit with the spine. So if things become a hot mess, don't stop drawing. Just follow it through. It's just practice. Don't worry about it. We've got this heel, and then I've got the angle of the foot down over there. Now I could be like, let's pick a leg. Let's just do this left leg. It rolls in, then the calf muscle, and then that kind of flows into the model's big toe. So now I can do like a little bit of tone over here. I can do a little bit of tone over here. Maybe I want my tone to be vertical. You do not want your tone to be choppy going across like that. Maybe this whole arm, I could do this deltoid. Maybe I'm going to do this and a little bit of tone over here. Love the ponytail kind of going up. I'm just going to do a couple of lines. We're going to throw in part of the model's hair. The model's face is like completely in shadow, and I'm going to put some tone over there. So now we can do the opposite. C's for deltoid. I'm going to just stick with one side, bicep. And this hand, I'm going to make it a little shorter. And that pose is done. Okay. Do I love it? No, I do not love it. I do not love it. I would technically really like to draw it again. And I'm going to do that right now. And let's just see. So right next to it, I'm going to draw it again. And I'm going to just try to be a little bit more carefree. So shoulders, back, hip, all the way down. Let's get the bottom of the foot. Let's get the center of the butt. Let's come on in over here and wrap around. I need to slow down. Drive your pencil on the line, on the page with continuous line. Cruise around. I'll come over here. The butt is not tilted. It's kind of level. So I'm going to just wrap around. We don't want to go too heavy with our line over there. So we don't want to cut the figure in half. So little dimples over here at the sacrum. Let's go into the model's neck. Okay. And hair. Shadow, ponytail, deltoid, tricep area, and heel, toes. Okay. So that's my second go through. Let me just look at some of these questions here for a second. Megana, box cylinder shapes used in figure drawing is helpful or not? Box and cylinder shapes are helpful when you are learning how to draw the figure. And when you don't understand form and you need to understand form, I would not do a gesture drawing with boxes and figures and stuff like that. Okay, so now what I recommend, I'm going to pile on a technique. I really shouldn't do this right now, Magana, but I'm going to do it just so you can see. What I recommend is that you practice just doing these round lines around the model's body, okay? just do these round lines right now and keep them extremely loose. Okay, we're just doing some form and some round because this kind of is in sync with the concept of gesture. So when I do this, like this is extremely powerful. I like the boxes and the cylinders thing. I love all that. Like, yeah, sure. Like we can draw like a torso and I can draw the hips and this would be the navel and that would be the rib cage and this would be the model's upper leg. And so, oh, okay, fine. We're going to draw a box. This is not gesture drawing. This is practice, Magana. If you don't understand that the body is dimensional. So that could be a cylinder or it could be a box. Let's just turn this into a cylinder right over there. This hip could be, or the pelvis could be an oval. And this leg, Magana, could be a cylinder. So the idea really is that you want to kind of combine all of these things and not just think one or the other. I think for me, I understand boxes and I teach it and I love George Bridgman. But for me, this is not gesture drawing. This is practice for understanding three-dimensional form. I hope that helped. Yusra. Hi, Yusra. Okay, I don't even remember when we started. Oh, I guess we started at 10:30. Should we do another pose, Yusra? Are you getting bored with me? Should we do another pose? I don't know. I'm just getting some coffee. Yes, I appreciate that. Well, I just read what Yusra wrote a second ago. There's a little delay. Should we do another pose? Let's do it. Okay. I'm gonna do one maybe without talking, so I can actually do one that I like. I'm pretty good with drawing and talking. It's not a problem, but oops, today seems to be a problem. I almost knocked down my mouse. Okay, another sheet of paper, and okay, let's do it. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm just taping the paper down, so bear with me as I do this. And I didn't do that. That last pose is so beautiful, and I just did not do it justice. I picked a lot of poses today with arms overhead, and it's so hard to do that on a live stream. Absolutely it is. Okay, let me sharpen my pencil again. 1 second. Is this the ivory black? Yes. Okay, top of the page. And, ooh, nice and big. Okay, cool. So, let me do this for you. So I want to do this. So ovals, continuous line, letter C, the opposite letter C, oval. Let's cruise into this pose. Oval, opposite letter C, letter C kind of line of action going all the way down to that foot. Back of the rib cage. I'm not going to do the hands and head right now. I just want to focus on this. So do you see this and this are the same? It's the same motion. This and this are the same. So you should draw this and then drag your pencil over. Okay, so now let me just kind of draw in my own style here. So I got this model's back. It rolls in, slow down, wrap around, form line, quad muscle. Let's come over here to, my pencil just broke. 1 second. So we've got breast. It broke again. I think this pencil is at the end of its rope. Lower leg. Lean back. Look at the pose from far away. What is underneath these toes? The center of the model's neck. So I'm going to come on down. So I kind of like that. Give yourself a target, and we'll figure out if that's the right height momentarily. I'm going to come back up to my home base, and I'm going to draw this breast as a half circle. I'm going to draw the center of the breast as a circle. I'm going to come on in and do some information in the center. Yes, I'm going to put in like a little bit of shape over here. I'm kind of being a little fun with it and not so perfect. I am going to outline this leg just simply because it's a foreground leg and we wrap around over here. So I'll cruise on down to this foot now. And we've got this foot and we go into those toes over there. Now, where are the toes in relationship to the butt? So maybe now I can go a little bit longer with that. I could kick out the opposite C over here. Where is this leg in relationship to the butt? So this leg does not kick out that much. So easy peasy, we can just kind of move it over to the left. Again, I shouldn't even be concerned with this. Toes kick out and heel into the ball of the foot. And I'm not loving any of that, but we're just going to keep going. And I'm going to say, okay, that's the upper arm. And we've got our chest over here. Upper arm is a little bit in shadow. I'm just going to cruise around, and then I've got the letter C for the model's face. But I think the face is higher because I didn't incorporate any of the neck. So there's like a little bit of this bicep now over here. We've got the model's ear, and then I'm going to just throw in a little bit of hair and this arm, chin. So this arm I'm going to move over, and we're just going to extend that up off of the page. So that's just a process of going from top to bottom. Now, just for me, oops, I used my electric sharpener. That's a die-hard habit right there. I want to leave that like that, and I'm going to do it one more time. So one more time would be, again, this breast. Now, I need to look more. Look more, Matt. Look at the model. Look at the model more, Matt, than looking at your paper. So I've got my torso. Okay, now I want to just develop a little bit more here. I want to get the breast. I want to do a little bit inside. I want to get the navel. And I want to just do some vertical shading lines and maybe just a couple of ribs over here. And I want to cruise on up into the pectoralis. And I want this to kind of kick out. So fine. And so now I look at the distance from the bottom of the breast to this leg. And we're going to kick out that leg. And I'm going to gesture down. And now I'm going to look at the measurement. So the toes are to the right of the, you don't want the knee to be an pointy knee. So now I'm going to just not outline 100%, and the heel comes up and the foot is angled. Okay. So today I don't have my proportions, and that's okay. That's okay. So I'm going to cruise on down. So a little bit of this leg. Give yourself a target. I'm shading this, shading that, a quick letter C for that. So now, again, there's no right and wrong way to do this, people. So I'm going to come back to this home base and just add some thicker, darker continuous line, trying my very best not to lift my pencil off of the paper. I'll come back over here, form lines. Wrap around and do one side of that leg. Okay, maybe a couple of form lines. And maybe I'll do my opposite letter C for the back. Come on down into that heel, into the bottom of the foot. I hope that's on the camera. Yeah, okay, cool. Continuous line, and let's see. Tone, cruise that up. So that would be times up. That would be times up. Okay, so the difference between this one and this one was that I just did more line. I did more line. So Batman, that question is to overall. Like, you need to be more specific. What are some useful skills for what specifically? I just want to see if I have another pose. Nope. I'm going to do one more out of my imagination for everybody. Batman, ask that question again, but be more specific to a subject or a skill for what? Okay, I'm going to just do one more pose out of my imagination. And then we'll call this live stream. I mean, the live stream doesn't have to be 2 hours today. We're about an hour and a half, and that's just fine. I need to get a new computer. I've been procrastinating and procrastinating and procrastinating, and I've had the same computer for years now. And when you do video, they don't last long. Yeah, this I've had this one. I don't even know when I got it. Figure. What are some useful skills for the figure? Well, I'll be a little bit more hierarchical and not so specific in my answer. So when getting better at drawing the figure, you need to do the 3 disciplines. And the 3 disciplines are: you need to draw out of your imagination, you need to draw from photos, and you need to draw from life. So what is that? Let me sharpen this pencil one last time here. So do what we're doing here, draw from photos. We all don't have, a model hanging out in our studio every day, but, just try to draw. Let me see if I can't do this. Oh. Cool. So draw from photos. Then when you're done drawing from a photo, put the photo away, go to a new sheet of paper, and try to draw that pose out of your imagination. And then, can you draw somebody? Doesn't need to be a nude, but can you draw somebody from life in a coffee shop, a family member watching TV? That'd be really cool. Okay, so again, I'm just trying to visualize a pose. Torso. Okay, so this would be torso. This would be rib cage. So a little bit more boxy torso. So now I'm going to do gestural stuff for legs, and foot, and head. That's really how I do gestures, just like that. So, okay, now cruise in, form line, center line, don't outline, connect with a perspective line, opposite letter C, opposite letter C, thumb, fingers. Maybe this arm, I'm going to do this arm with tone. So that's just a quick gesture out of my imagination. So if you wanted to, you can start to do some of these form lines that wrap around like that. Okay, and it's just practice, and it's practice for you to try to be more form driven. And it's just an exercise. I don't expect you to, when you do this, you could do these lines vertically. You can do them on the oval horizontally, like that. Vertically is better because it's not so stiff. It cascades down the pose. Yeah. I just want to get a drawing pad and see if I have any gestures in there. We'll close out with maybe a couple of the gestures that I've done in the past at school. Let me just see what I have. I don't have anything really that I love in this drawing pad, but I'll show you. This would be something that I would do in class, and it's too big to fit on the screen. So it's just, I guess that was from my imagination, and I'm just kind of teaching the students to use thicker line, not to outline everything, and to draw bigger and draw with their arm, and not to draw like that. Okay, let me see if I can't find another one here that I don't mind sharing. Sorry, like this pad is a little unwieldy. And then I also, oh God, I also am a big believer in tonal gestures. And yeah, tonal gestures like that with no outlines, no lines really. Let me just see if I can show you like one or two more. Yeah, I'm not loving this pad. I'm not loving this pad. This was a model, a little bit bigger model, and just these types of lines are how I really, really like to draw. I'll show you this last one. There's one more page in this sketchbook that I kind of like. This, again, a demo out of my imagination with the students, and I'm drawing a little bit looser on this. Yeah, so like I just draw better from life than I do when I'm drawing from photos, and like this is just so expressive and so heavy from life. And just thinking about all this like really fun stuff. So these are just some of the demonstrations that I do in class with the students. And like I said, not my favorite pad. Oh, I like that one. Okay, hold on. So this works for me a lot. This is how I like to do the gestures. So you could see it's that opposite, the letter C, the opposite C, the letter C, the opposite C, the letter C, the bottom of the foot, connecting the foot with a perspective line, doing some form lines, center line, a little bit of shape of hair, and then this one on this side of the page. It's a little bit lighter because I'm drawing with this graphite stick, which is a little bit lighter than the pencil I was drawing with today. The pencil that I was drawing with today is just very heavy. It's good for video. David, what do you mean about connecting to the perspective line? Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. So like this for me would be a classic. I'm going to sneeze. Gosh darn it. This would be a classic 1 to 2 minute. Gee whiz, Jesus Christ, on a live stream, I had to. I can't believe I sneezed. Okay, so David, look at the bottom here. I like to connect the feet with an imaginary line because that foot is going in perspective that way, David, and this foot is going in perspective that way. Yeah, that's a whole nother story for another day, and I could have gone a little bit more in detail with that, but I don't want to overload with too much perspective stuff on here. It was just more of a bird's eye view in today's class of these things. Like this is the angle of perspective, David, on the model's feet, but I did it from the heels, not the toes. You can do it from the toes and almost like make like a yoga mat on the ground there around the model's feet. So listen, I think this live stream is pretty much done. And I really, today was about gesture drawing. It wasn't about doing anything perfect. I love what I did today? It was okay. It was okay. It is what it is. You have good days and you have bad days. As long as you all like learn something, that's truly like the most important part. And maybe we'll just take the last minute to say goodbye here. And does anybody have like any questions before I close this live stream out today? Now, listen, while I'm waiting for a question or two, thank you, Slar. We're going live again next Monday morning at roughly 10:30, and I should have my new computer by then, and I'll feel like all up to date and confident with it all. So this computer was very scary this morning. I almost didn't even have the live stream because one of my cameras wasn't showing up. Nocturne C, thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe, everybody, and I would appreciate if you can leave a comment under the video. What I'm doing here is each and every week, I am taking one thing that I teach in my foundation drawing class at the School of Visual Arts, and that one thing I am isolating it and I am teaching it here to you on YouTube. If you want to support the channel, click on some of the links and see what else I have to offer outside of SVA. Thank you, Paul. I have some references at my website, Drawing Tutorials. These references are from a different website. They're called Graphit Studio, Grafit. What are some good art books? Yeah, you have to, Carmela, because this is I do have photo reference on my website. There's photo reference with every single course. Carmela, this will make your long drawings, your portraits that you do, faster if you practice this. Art books, for me, There's I just basically collected like a lot of books of painters that I liked over the years. I don't really have a lot of technically art books that teach art techniques. I have more books on artists. I probably have altogether like maybe 3 books that teach technique. Um, Okay, so Catalina, when working fast with a figure, what tips would you give to keep it proportional? I find that I end up stylizing a way bit too much, make the legs too long. So, okay, let me go back to my piece of paper. What you should watch, Catalina, last week's live stream. You should watch that one because we talked about how many heads high. I think heads high kind of sucks, but it might help you. Like, so I'll give you my formula in a live drawings. I have no more paper. Gee whiz. Okay. Let me just fold this thing in half like this and use this. Okay. Catalina, let me tape this down for you. Thank you, Carmela, for watching. So let's just say, Catalina, that this is my top of my 18 by 24 piece of paper, and this is the bottom of the paper, Catalina. So what I'll do, and so this is like 18 inches tall. I usually start here at the model's torso, and then I'll plant the foot, and that's the top of the head. So, like, I know that I draw the torso first, and I place that, and then I do a line of action, and I place the bottom of the foot. Do I have enough room? Yes. Is this leg too long for that torso? Maybe. Then I do the top of the hair. So this, Catalina, is called a target line. This is called a target line at the top for the top of the head. So it's a formula for me in live drawing. So I usually do the torso, then I go down to 1 foot, and then I go back and I go to the top of the head, and then I lean back. So then, oh, the foot's too long. The leg's too long. Let me lift up the foot. So that's how I adjust. And then you go back and you draw it. Yeah, Sarah Simblett. I consider that an anatomy book, not so much an art book because it doesn't teach drawing skills. It teaches anatomy, and that book is a treasure, William. I have, like, I think 3 copies of it because I lost a copy, which my daughter took and was in her bookshelf, and she couldn't find it. I thought it was, like, lost. So then I bought another one, and then I bought another one. You got it, Catalina. So, Catalina, what you do after this is you just slow your roll, and you just start to do like a little bit of continuous line, and maybe add like some shapes because shapes are really, really important. And yeah, so I can tell right away if this is going to be in proportion to very, very quickly before I start to draw it. Slar, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching, and I thank everybody. We're going to close this thing out. I've been doing way too much talking here today. I need to go get a new computer. It's been many, many years since I got one, and I think it's time. I think it's time. All right, people, I'm out. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And check out the links in the description. Emmanuel, that's a story for another day, Emmanuel. How can you make a living with your art? Yeah, that's a tough one at the end of the live stream. I know I asked you to ask me questions, but that one's loaded. You need to pick something specific, Emmanuel, and just, yeah, so something specific could be that you are going to do portraits of dogs, specifically French bulldogs, and just be specific with one thing. the more you can be specific, the more of a better chance you have of earning a living. I could do I talk about this all the time, but it's too much right now to talk about that. Remember, everybody, I also offer one-to-one coaching, links in the description, and I will talk to you soon, okay? I'll see you next Monday. Have a good week, everybody, and thanks for watching.